From the earliest evidence of tool use to primitive hunting strategies, here's what life was like during the Stone Age. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe to They Will Kill You. Hit the like button and request any topics you'd like to learn about in the comments section below. Number 10. Time period. Early time periods in human history are defined from an archaeological perspective by the technology and type of tools that were used. Thus, Stone Age refers to the materials said tools were made out of. It's the first of a three-age system, followed by the Bronze Age and the Iron Age. The oldest stone tools were excavated at a site in Kenya and date back 3.3 million years. Discovered in the mid-2010s, it was a groundbreaking find that pushed back the timeline of tool use by almost 1 million years. This means it predated the Homo genus, of which we are a part, by 500,000 years. The species responsible for creating the rough instruments remains unknown, but was probably an ape ancestor called Australopithecus. Judging by this find, it can be said that the Stone Age lasted from 3.3 million years ago and ended between 8,700 and 2000 BC. With the development of metalworking, the age as a whole is further divided into the Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic ages, correspondent to the Old, Middle and New Stone Age. Number 9. Humans. The Stone Age is interwoven with human evolution because it's within this vast time period that anatomically modern humans emerged. The evolution of Homo sapiens wasn't a linear but more of a web-like process that involved splits from primate ancestors and the gradual development of bipedalism, fire control, symbolic thinking, language, and other evolutionary milestones. Therefore, the Stone Age saw the rise and fall of other members of the Homo genus, each of them adding their contribution to evolution. These include archaic humans such as Neanderthals and Denisovans, with whom anatomically humans interbred and who diverged from a common ancestor. For the purpose of this video, we'll mainly focus on the Stone Age life of anatomically modern humans, who emerged in Africa at least 130,000 years ago, and were the last humans standing about 15,000 to 12,000 years ago. Before we move on, answer this question. Which of these early human species is believed to have been the first to control fire? Is it A. Homo erectus, B. Homo habilis, C. Homo denisova, D. Homo neanderthalensis? Let us know what you think in the comments section below and stay tuned to find out the right answer. Number 8. Ice Age. The Stone Age is how the timeline is referred to from a technological perspective, but from a geological standpoint, the period coincides with the Pleistocene, also known as the Ice Age. It was a time characterized by rotating patterns of glacial periods in which the world's water was trapped in massive sheets of frozen ice. During the interglacial periods, wet and dry spells were a lot more drastic than today, thus prompting changes in early human intelligence, adaptability, and social behaviors. Analysis of tools in Africa shows a strong correlation between alternating drought and rainfall periods and stone tool development. Humans were forced to build shelters on the move and find new sources of food, which is why some populations eventually left Africa. They spread to Europe and Northern Asia, to places that were much colder and covered in snow. The Ice Age might have actually aided human expansion. Since so much of the world's water was trapped in ice, sea levels were lower, thus enabling humans to migrate easier. Before we move on, official They Will Kill You merchandise is now available at theywillkillyou.com. It's out of this world. Number 7. Shelter. Despite commonly depicted as cavemen, not all prehistoric humans were cave dwellers. In fact, most weren't. Nevertheless, caves have been crucial in understanding early humans, particularly since so much information comes from items recovered from them. That's mainly because the remains and artifacts were protected from the elements and preserved in the cave. One obvious example is the Denisova cave in Siberia, where fossils were recovered from archaic humans now known as Denisovans. The cave may have also been inhabited by Neanderthals and other related hybrids, although it's not clear if at the same time. The earliest man-made structure goes back about 2 million years to East Africa and consists of a simple stone arrangement made to support tree branches. It's been attributed to Homo habilis. Early humans created rock shelters but also tents out of animal hide. As time passed, they created teepees out of timber and huts out of large animal bones. Number 6. Tools. Throughout history, tools have been the gateway to progress, and this is true for the people of the Stone Age as well. Hammerstones were among the earliest and simplest tools, and they were used to chip other stones into sharp-edged flakes. The complexity of these instruments changed over time and led to the emergence of hand axes and spear points made for taking down large game. Weapons were mainly created out of sedimentary rock, such as flint and chert, while ground stone tools were made out of basalt and sandstone. Tool development enabled humans to master their environment in matters such as home building, hunting, or food preparation. Number 5. Art. Stone Age people produced art in the form of music, rock carvings, and drawings. They also created sculptures and jewelry from ivory, animal bones, or clay. This is proven by the discovery of several areas with parietal art, such as the Lascaux cave system in France. Stone Age people mainly drew or rock-carved depictions of animals, but there were also human figures with animal features. Additionally, there are various symbols which some have interpreted as early forms of calendars or almanacs. The truth is that the significance of Stone Age art remains a mystery and a subject of interpretation. The music they produced came from instruments made out of animal bone, particularly flutes. The Duyababa flute, for example, is believed to be at least 40,000 years old, and it was carved from a cave bear femur. Number 4. Family structure. One aspect that might have contributed to the extinction of Neanderthals and other archaic humans is inbreeding. Anatomically modern humans somehow figured out that they had to select mates outside their own families through social ties with other tribes. They lived in small family communities or hunter-gatherer clans and passed their knowledge from generation to generation, thus enabling the advancement of the tribe. This included how to make tools, how to start a fire, hunting techniques, what plants to eat, and much more. Each community most likely had a chieftain, as well as someone who handled religious rites in matters of death and burials. Number 3. Pets. There's a reason why the dog is regarded as man's best friend, since it's the first animal humans domesticated. 40,000 to 20,000 years ago, a genetic divergence occurred between dogs and wolves. The grey wolf was the first animal to be domesticated by hunter-gatherers and is regarded as the ancestor of all dog breeds. As anthropologist Brian Hare put it, the domestication of the dog was one of the most extraordinary events in human history. How this happened is still disputed. One possibility is that early humans captured wolf pups, kept them as pets, and gradually domesticated them. Another theory is described as survival of the friendliest, which implies a process known as self-domestication. Some wolves would have simply been friendlier to humans in order to have access to a steady food supply. Regardless, there's evidence that early humans cared greatly for their canine companions. This is reflected by the fact that they were buried alongside them and cared for them when they were sick. Number 2. Food. You might have heard of the Paleo diet, which refers to consuming the same food that people did during the Paleolithic or Old Stone Age. The diet was that of a hunter-gatherer, meaning that they took advantage of what the environment had to offer prior to the development of agriculture. This meant that they would often have to travel to where food and fresh water was more abundant. Stone Age humans fished and hunted, but also consumed eggs, seeds, nuts, vegetables, berries, and grasses. The development of pottery allowed people to better cook and store their food. The earliest evidence of pottery dates back around 20,000 years and comes from a cave in China. Once agriculture and animal domestication was developed, humans had the ability to control their food, which in turn led to the creation of permanent settlements. This wide-scale transition from hunting and gathering to agriculture and settlement is known as the Neolithic Revolution, and it facilitated a major population boom. So, which early humans first mastered fire? If you guessed A, Homo erectus, then you're right. The upright man lived throughout most of the Pleistocene era and started controlling fire anywhere from 1.5 million to 400,000 years ago. Homo erectus was also among the first humans to live in hunter-gatherer societies. Number 1. Hunting strategies. In 2015, 11,000-year-old mammoth remains were unearthed by a Michigan farmer while he was digging in his field. After the man notified the University of Michigan, a team of paleontologists was sent to the site and uncovered parts of the mammoth's pelvis, shoulder blades, ribs and vertebrae, as well as a giant skull complete with 2 massive tusks. According to the scientists who led the team, the beast might have been butchered by humans who then stashed the meat so that they could return to it later. There's considerable evidence that early humans hunted woolly mammoths, from objects carved out of their bones to a wounded vertebrate found in Siberia that features a clear spear mark. Through a combination of pack hunting, ingenuity and endurance, early humans became prolific hunters. It's believed they used spears or fire to drive mammoths off of cliffs, which didn't have to be very tall since the beast was so massive. Another technique was to ambush mammoths from a vantage point and to barrage them with heavy stones or spears. They also created traps in the form of deep pits with spikes, which they then covered up. Chasing them to exhaustion was also an option since humans are superior endurance runners. Young or sick mammoths were the ones usually targeted, but a large and well-organized hunting party wouldn't have shied away from taking on adults as well. People in Siberia and Eastern Europe were expert mammoth hunters, judging from numerous huts found in those regions which were made out of mammoth bones. Thanks for watching. Would you rather live in the Stone Age with the knowledge you have now or time travel 100 years in the future? Let us know in the comments section below.